lightning in downtown Houston, several rounds of it, and you can see that widely scattered nature of these thunderstorms today. We had deeper tropical moisture moving in from the Gulf, and that's what prompted more widespread and heavier showers than what we saw the past couple of days. Zooming in now, 13 alert radar, though the latest analysis from the last hour or so, you can see all the thunderstorms that are across Harris County, portions of Liberty County, Montgomery County. Those are fizzling out. And then farther to the west of I-45 into the hill country, you can see some thunderstorms near Austin. The ones that were north of College Station also weakening. And generally speaking, that is the trend for tonight. These showers and storms, they're raining out, they're fizzling out, but we're left with that high humidity and some cloud cover. It is sticky outside right now. Still feels pretty toasty though, with the feels like temperature in the 90s. We'll see a few peaks of sunshine before the sun sets later today. And one thing about high humidity, we have some tropics to talk about. Yeah, that tropical moisture and humidity, not from Barry. What we saw today was separate of Tropical Storm Barry. Landfall is imminent just south of Tampico. That is where we'll see this storm make landfall. Barry does not pose a threat to the United States whatsoever, or us here in southeast Texas. Will likely see the next named storm, though now in the Gulf, make landfall as a tropical storm with winds of about 45 miles per hour. So again, my top weather headline for you. I know Barry has made the headlines this weekend. It's not going to be a threat to us here in Houston, and we still have one more chance to see a few isolated showers and storms tomorrow in case you missed out on them today. But generally speaking, we are drying out and heating up, and we are also welcoming Saharan dust. That's our next tropical impact from during hurricane season, is a big plume of Saharan dust. We'll have more on that, Tom, coming up in my full forecast.
Elyse, thank you. Back here on Earth, we are certainly keeping our eyes on the Gulf. Back with meteorologist Elyse Smith. More storms today.
Yep.
Not necessarily connected to what's going on deep in the tropics, though.
No, we did see some higher humidity today, and the result was that heavier rainfall that we saw with some of these showers and thunderstorms. But what we do have the latest on is Barry, of course. Barry now in the Gulf, but not a threat to us. A tropical storm has strengthened within the last 3 hours, now has sustained winds of 45 miles per hour, so still a tropical storm about to make landfall, though. As you can see, Barry is skirting along the Gulf Coast of Mexico. Will make landfall likely just south of Tampico within the next few hours, with those tropical storm force winds and heavy rains being the main threat to them in Mexico. No threat to southeast Texas or the United States from this particular system, and this system is very short-lived. It weakens, it fizzles out, and then it's gone by the time we get into tomorrow. Our main concern is going to be this large plume of Saharan dust. Could be one of the thicker concentrations we've seen this year and in several years in southeast Texas, depending on where that thicker concentration and that plume really moves in over the next 24 hours. And this dust lingers for tomorrow, Tuesday, and Wednesday. But that's just dust cloud number one. We have a second one on the way heading into the weekend. So this is looking at Friday, Saturday, not as thick, but between the two, we are going to see a reduction in air quality and that hazy skyline for several days this week. So if you do have underlying respiratory illnesses or factors, things like that, and particulate matter is something that you're sensitive to, this is something you'll want to pay attention to this week, especially too since fireworks, we got those for Freedom Over Texas for the 4th of July on Friday. So a lot of stuff is going to be in the air over the next few days. And it's going to be hot. That's also what's in the air. Temperatures heating up mid to upper 90s very quickly in short term for tomorrow. And then for Freedom Over Texas, we'll likely have a triple-digit heat index pretty much every single day this week. Then eventually triple-digit temperatures as we head into next weekend. So we could potentially be looking at the first few heat advisories of the season. That is totally fine. That is totally normal. It's around this time of year and we can start to see some more prevalent temperatures in the 90s. And the heat dome is back. Reason why, yeah, that heat dome is returning. This is going to steer away the rain once we get into the middle of this week. It lingers, and then that is what's bringing us potentially the warmest temperatures we've seen this summer so far. And that heat dome could even be sticking around for the following week as well. Meanwhile, here's a live look over Houston. Yeah, we're going to see a little bit of sun before it sets tonight. The rain-cooled air, though, that's the main story. That's why it still feels so humid outside. It's 83 degrees. We have a dew point of 76, so there's not a lot of difference there. That's why it feels so oppressively humid outside right now. And in Galveston, 87 degrees. Can see a little bit of the sunshine there on Seawall Boulevard. Beautiful shot. It's been a great day to be out near the Gulf and near the water today. As for 13 alert radar, I don't have much to talk about. All of the showers and thunderstorms that have been very prevalent and very loud today, those are weakening and fizzling out. We do have one more shot of a few showers and storms tomorrow. Not as widespread. They're going to be a little more isolated, but it's those daytime heating showers and thunderstorms. So we have another shot at getting some rain into the middle of the day tomorrow. For future track, though, you can see that cloud cover sticking around, but dry for tonight. Have the chance for a few coastal showers in the morning tomorrow as that sea breeze gets going. Then as those showers move in, you can see much more isolated for tomorrow, but some locally heavy rainfall and some lightning and thunder can't be ruled out for tomorrow. And any rain that does develop, it will fizzle out by later, just past sunset. Rest of your 10-day forecast. What you might also notice tomorrow is that hazy skyline. We keep it in the forecast for Tuesday and Wednesday. We're also keeping that hot weather. Triple-digit temperatures follow. Freedom over Texas for the 4th of July, and we're gearing up for a hot start to July.
Elyse, thank you. Still ahead. Today's almost chilly compared to what we're going to see the rest of the week.
Chilly. I think the humidity really doesn't make it that chilly. Mexico as a tropical storm. Again, no threats to southeast Texas or the United States.
Elyse, thank you, and thank you for spending part of your night with us. That's it for Eyewitness News. We hope to see you again tonight at 10. For Elyse Smith and Mo Hyder, I'm Tom Abrams. Elyse Smith is here with the first look at our forecast, which it looks like it includes some triple-digit temperatures later in the week.
It does, Tom, which could be the first of the summer season. And you know what? It is usually this time of year when we can start to see a handful of those 100-degree days. We haven't seen any yet this year so far, but this week, I do think we're going to get into a summertime pattern that will allow for that. It'll definitely feel like the triple digits no matter what, though, as we start to see high temperatures in the mid-90s, high humidity. We've had triple-digit feels-like temperatures already several times this year, especially within this past week. That's something to expect tomorrow, along with the chance for a few isolated thunderstorms. By Tuesday, it is much drier. We start to warm up, and that hazy sky, that's a plume of Saharan dust that will be lingering across the Gulf Coast and specifically here in Houston for several days this week. Another thing about the tropics that we've been keeping our eye on is, of course, Barry, which has been downgraded, weakened just within the last update from the National Hurricane Center. It's now a tropical depression, has moved inland in Mexico. All of the tropical storm warnings have been dropped, but there's still going to be some dangerous flash flooding that occurs as you see all the swirling showers and thunderstorms that are associated with Barry. It's not going to be our storm. And that's the top weather headline I have for you tonight. I know Barry was definitely raising some eyebrows this weekend, but no impacts from Barry for us in Texas, in Houston. This is not a storm for us. Good. We got through the B's. As for tomorrow, we have another chance for a few isolated showers and thunderstorms. And this week, though, it is hotter and drier, and that's Saharan dust. I'll talk about how many days when it could be over our heads and when we could see the thickest concentration. Coming up in my full forecast, Tom.
All right, Elyse, thank you. It has been a wet weekend.
Yep.
It's going to be a warm week.
Yeah, we're not raining dollar bills here in southeast Texas. Even though the raindrops here, they are very fat when it comes to like how big they are. And we'll see some larger raindrops too as we have another chance for some showers and storms tomorrow. But as for the tropics, one thing I want to talk about, Saharan dust. I really think this is going to be the main story and something you notice this week as we'll have a larger, thicker plume of Saharan dust moving into the Gulf Coast as early as tomorrow. This is something you can notice as early as tomorrow evening with that vibrant sunset we could see in Houston. But this Saharan dust is going to stick around for several days this week, and then a secondary plume is going to move into the Gulf once again heading into the weekend. So all that being said, if you do have underlying respiratory illnesses, this is something you'll want to take note of for this week. Otherwise, it shouldn't be a big concern. We'll just have that hazy skyline and that reduction in air quality at times while the Saharan dust is around. But this weather is definitely pool weather. It is going to be hot this week, potentially the hottest stretch of summer so far, with temperatures consistently above normal in the mid to upper 90s. And then we do have the first triple-digit temperatures up on the board for after Freedom over Texas, after the 4th of July holiday, where that first weekend of July, it's going to be toasty. And all this being said, you know we have to combine in the humidity too to get that feels like temperature. Could potentially have the first couple heat advisories of the season issued this week with temperatures like that. It's because we have the heat dome. The heat dome is returning once again. It's something that is oh so common here in Texas once we get to this time of year. And that's also going to steer away any rain from us for several days this week. And this heat dome could even linger into next week, keeping things pretty hot for the first 2 weeks of July. Meanwhile, tonight, everything is clear. It's quiet. Any rain and thunderstorms that developed today, they fizzled out pretty quickly. That's a live look to Houston tonight. You can see the skyline, so it's not too humid or too hazy yet. 81 degrees, feels like 86 right now. Dew point temperatures have actually dropped a little bit. In Galveston, it's 83 degrees. We've been consistently seeing water temperatures in the 80s. or even low 90s when the sun is really beating on the Gulf. 13 alert radar, nothing to talk about tonight, but we are going to see another chance for rain tomorrow, which could be the last chance until we get till next week. It's about a 20 to 30% chance for a few isolated showers and storms in the middle of the afternoon. That's that sea breeze getting going, but I don't think the spread for tomorrow is going to be as widely scattered as what we experienced today. And you'll see that here on Future Track. So moving through Future Track now in the morning hours, as normal, as usual this time of year, we could see a couple of coastal showers develop in the early morning, and then we see the sea breeze move in from the Gulf. There's that isolated activity. Again, likely seeing a storm in and around Harris County, potentially Houston in the middle of the afternoon. We keep that chance for a few showers and storms throughout the rest of the evening, and then things fizzle out. They quiet down for the rest of the night. Then it is a quieter forecast rain-wise, but we are heating up and drying out. Tomorrow is that last best chance for rain up on the 10-day until we get to next week. So get ready for Freedom Over Texas. Start hydrating now, because this is going to be the hottest stretch we've seen so far this year. With the Saharan dust, it's definitely going to feel drier outside, potentially at times. Very, very warm. Could see our first 100-degree day of the year this next weekend, if not sooner, depending on how intense that heat dome is. But it does look like we'll open the door for potentially another opportunity for a few showers and storms into next week.